The number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of the season.
And we welcome you into today's edition of Inside Fever Basketball, and we are thrilled to be joined here today by General Manager, Chief Operating Officer, Amber Cox. Welcome. It was a little over a month ago that you were announced. We had the press conference, so why don't you catch us up on the last couple of weeks and how you've integrated here to the Indiana Fever?
I tell you what, it's been a whirlwind, but a lot of fun. This is an organization that I have long admired and have had a lot of interactions with throughout my career. So it's surreal to walk into work here every single day. Everyone has been so helpful, helping me find where to get a pen, where the lunchroom is, all the important things. But obviously, we've gotten right to work on the basketball side of things, preparing for 2025 as well. So it's been a fun startup month for sure.
You've got an extensive resume. It speaks for itself. Most recently in Dallas, COO with the Wings, but you've been in Connecticut and Phoenix. You have a lot of experience in professional sports, women's professional sports. How does that impact you here as you get ready for this opportunity? Well,
I think, being in the WNBA since 2005, I've seen a lot. So the growth through the years, we've learned a lot. I think we're obviously at this very pivotal time in the WNBA and obviously led by the Indiana Fever. But I think all those experiences will lend themselves to hopefully doing the best job possible here. I mean, this is truly a dream come true for me to walk into this role, to work alongside Kelly Krauskopf and Stephanie White on the basketball side and the tremendous business side of things, the team that is assembled on that side too. So I feel like everything in my journey thus far has really prepared me for this role in this moment.
I want to ask you about that group that you're going to work with here in a moment, but let's just start at this 20,000 foot view, if you will. What's ahead, the inflection point for the league and for the franchise that you just touched upon? I mean, what about that excites you the most here?
Certainly, we're at this incredible inflection point, and it feels like for the rest of the world, the light switch has come on, and everyone now understands what we all know and love about the WNBA, how tremendous these players are on the court, but also what great people they are off the court. And I say it all the time, 1 through 12, we've got incredible stories to tell. And I think this spotlight gives us the opportunity to create even more of a platform for every single one of our players, not only on the court, but off the court too.
It's been a busy offseason already for the franchise, and I know a whole lot more is coming up. Your addition, clearly a major part of that. But let's start here with Stephanie White, head coach. She comes back to Indiana, somebody that has her roots here in this state and in many ways in this franchise. Take me through your expectations for her and how this reuniting you see going on here with the Fever.
Yeah, I mean, what a cool moment for the Fever and for Stephanie White to come back to this organization. Basketball royalty in this state, has done so much as a player and a coach. Again, being in this league, I've long admired Steph and her ability to put a team together, to, build a coaching staff, and obviously the X's and O's and everything she can do on the court. Her players love to play for her. So just being able to support her in any way that I can, I truly view this as a team effort. This is not going to be one person that's going to put this together. I think between Steph and her staff and also Kelly Krauskopf, Lynn Dunn still on board as a senior advisor, we've got a tremendous team with a very diverse skill set that are coming at things at different angles. And I think that's going to put us in the best position to be successful.
Speaking of Kelly, she's somebody, I know you and she go way back, 20 years back. It was something she talked about in that introductory press conference. Mm-hmm. To be able to work with her, the brain power here in the front office, how would you describe your relationship and what you hope to achieve here?
Well, I said it in the press conference, all it took was the phone call from Kelly Krauskopf. You said it. It's 20 years being a mentor and a friend in this business. Decisions that I've made throughout my career, I've leaned on Kelly. I just truly value her expertise when it comes to, again, just like life decisions. but obviously one of the most brilliant basketball minds that our league has ever seen. And I think her experience going to the Pacers for several seasons and then coming back gives us an even different look at the way that we do things. And again, I just go back to this very diverse group of people that we've assembled to really lead the charge forward for these players, and couldn't be more excited than to come to work with Kelly every single day.
When you look at what the Fever have here in the front office, bringing Stephanie White back, more exciting moves, I'm sure, to come. Pacer Sports and Entertainment has always been really invested in the Indiana Fever, but this feels like, to me, like this is another step forward, another level of investment. Is that how you see it?
Absolutely. And, a lot of credit goes to the Simon family. Obviously, it's been 25 plus years now for the Indiana Fever. And not all of those years were easy, right? But there was always a belief, and that investment in this team has been there. And now you've got Mel Raines at the helm, certainly, excited about the Fever, invested in what we're doing. And that trickles down. Ownership, CEO, all the way down through the company. Every single person that I have talked to is, how can I help? Whatever I can do to lend to the success of the Fever, continue the growth, however I can. To a person, everybody wants to be a part of it. So it's really cool to step in this environment and have this entire organization pulling in the same direction.
I know that filling out the coaching staff is a goal here over the coming weeks and coming months, but you started on that goal. The Fever have started on that goal with Austin Kelly coming in. Of course, Karima Christmas Kelly is somebody that is well known here, and he'll be joining the staff. I mean, it's a cool story on the side, but obviously somebody with a great basketball mind that Stephanie really has respected too in her time in Connecticut. Yeah,
Austin is a tremendous mind. I have not worked with him. I'm looking forward to getting to know him as well, but I know he brings so much experience. I've talked to other players who have played for Austin, and just to a person, they all just rave about him. Karima, as a player, was very difficult when you were on the other side. And I think she brings that same mentality every single day, just hardworking, can really relate to the players. I know she's done a tremendous job in her time here. I got to know her a little bit when our paths crossed in Dallas. So couldn't be more thrilled than to work with Karima and Austin every day as well.
We discussed the inflection point, kind of where the league is at, and a great example is the expansion we're seeing and the expansion draft taking place on Friday, which I'm sure for somebody in your position, it's a very unique thing, right? Because it's different than anything else probably that you do from an off-season perspective. But does it provide assistance and help at all, knowing you're going to be doing this a couple of more times and kind of going through that process for the first time this year?
It was an interesting experience. And you think about this team, and obviously I was not here, but you could see, and I've heard about how close this unit was. And so it's a difficult decision, but we all have to sacrifice for expansion in order to get Golden State up and running, and 2 more teams next year. So it's what we have to do. It's not easy. You never like to see a player leave. Temi was obviously an incredible piece to the success last year. But again, it's the price we pay for growth. We're really excited for Golden State to come online. And certainly it was a decision we made, but a decision that wasn't in a vacuum, part of an overall strategy that hopefully everyone will see unfold throughout the offseason.
Take me through your thoughts on the roster as things currently stand. You've got a few pillars, I think, at least, to build around. It'll be an important free agency stretch, perhaps an important trade stretch here coming up. But where do you view this roster right now?
I mean, that getting into the playoffs was such a great step. I think experiencing that for our young team is so important, because you understand how the intensity level goes up another several notches, right? So that is a really important step. So obviously we want to take the next step. So I think as we're looking to free agency, we'll think about veterans coming in with that playoff experience. But what a foundation in Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, back-to-back rookies of the year, players playing together that can really do something special for the long term. And obviously, as we get into free agency, the number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of the season last year. So we want to reunite Caitlin and Kelsey. And Kelsey, when I think about her and her time in Indiana, and, a lot of trials and tribulations throughout her career. So for me and for us, I'm most excited for her to be in this moment and experience so much success. Yes, we'll continue to look at the roster, see what's available to us as we get into free agency, and to continue to try to, build upon last year's success.
Caitlin specifically has such a unique skill set. She loves to run, just incredible vision. Stephanie White sat down right where you are and said, we want to run. So how much are you thinking about the fit here as you close in on free agency?
It's the most important thing, right? You've got to get the players that fit with the system Stephanie wants to have on the floor. Offensively, we were pretty efficient last year. We need to improve on the defensive end, which I'm sure Steph agrees with. So we'll continue to look at those, 3-and-D type players that can get out and run, but can also get back and help us on the defensive end, really improve on that side of the ball too. But fit is the most important thing. You got to have somebody that can run up and down the floor and catch those passes Caitlin's going to be throwing.
Speaking of the defensive end, improvements to be made, but you've got a centerpiece in the middle there in Aaliyah Boston. And when you think about defensively, what she provides as you look to build on that end of the floor, how significant is having her down there?
I mean, it's so significant. And I told her this when I met her and we sat down the first time. I am such an Aaliyah Boston fan since her days in college. And just to watch her growth year over year, even, as a season progresses, has been tremendous. So as good as she was defensively, as good as she became in that screen and roll system offensively last year, I think we're going to see even another level from Aaliyah Boston next year. And I'm really excited to have her anchoring everything we do on the defensive end.
Coming weeks, what do the next few weeks, maybe month plus, look like for you as you continue to get to work here?
Yeah, I mean, we'll fill out the rest of the coaching staff. That's top priority. We want to really have our basketball staff in place as we hit free agency. That kicks in January, and that's where our focus will be. Obviously, we're getting out and we're scouting a lot of the college games that are going on, looking at players internationally. So, everybody's got their hands in a little bit of it right now, just making sure we're covering all the bases and putting ourselves in a position to have the most information possible to make the best decisions when the time comes.
Well, Amber, you've got a Fever fan base here that is just so eager for any bit of content, any bit of Fever news. So you sitting down with us is much appreciated. What's your message to this fan base here as you get your work underway and as this offseason continues?
I mean, just keep supporting, keep coming out. I mean, it was incredible to see Gainbridge Fieldhouse packed every single night, and frankly, on the road as well. Fever fans are not isolated to just Indiana, as we learned. They are all over this country packing arenas. So just keep coming out, keep supporting. It's a really important piece and creates that home court advantage for us. And we just can't wait to be back here in May.
Amber, thank you very much for your time, your perspective, and we'll let you get back to work here.
Thank you.